Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. For a little bit of backstory, I thought I was recording for about 30 minutes, and I was saying my goodbye when I realized that I had not been recording for 30 minutes. So, this is, just know that this has already been done, and now I have to live through this torment all over again. So, as I'm sure the title is going to tell you, this is a video where I'm going to be reading the first chapter of a book that I wrote when I was 11. Just want everybody to remember that I was 11 years old when I wrote this. Now, a little bit of backstory. As a child, I was obsessed with books. I still am, obviously. If you haven't been around on my channel, I'm obsessed with writing and reading. When I was little, I was obsessed with stories. My mother would read to me, and I just thought it was the most amazing thing that had ever been created was a book, a story. I had so many picture books as a child. Some of them I think my mom still has. And she and I used to play this game constantly. And it was a story game where she would start a story and then I would continue the story and she would continue and I would continue until we got bored of it. And then we'd start a new story. I could play it for hours. And I wanted nothing more, than to be able to read. Because if I could have my own way, I would have had my mom read to me all day, every day. Alas, as an adult, that was simply not possible. She had things to do than just constantly reading to me. So I would sit down with my picture books and make up stories to myself. I would sit there and say them out loud, which is probably why YouTube is not quite so strange for me, talking at a camera. I've always talked to myself, but I would say the stories out loud. I would sit there and read them and make the stories up as I went, ever since I was a kid. And when I hit first grade, I was ecstatic because that was when I was going to learn how to read. And I would go home and do all of my homework completely earnestly. Like, I would do my homework and then do it again on, like, blank paper where I was tracing letters. Forget math. Never did that on my own. Mom had to help me. Force me. English, though. Writing. Oh, God. I would do that and then ask for more. Like, I was desperate to learn how to read and to learn how to write. Like, when I found out, not only was I going to learn how to read the books that I loved, I could write, like, the letters in the books. Like, oh my God, I was like, sign me up for this! And I, like, was the fastest reader in class. I loved reading more than anything in the world. I'm very picky about what I read, but I love reading. And as soon as I was able, I started trying to write stories. Like, as soon as I was able. And it sounds like it should be a talk given by someone who is a successful publisher or author. Alas, I am not. I am far too picky and finicky to be that. But what I wanted to share with you guys today is the very first book that I ever finished as an 11-year-old in 6th grade. Here it is in this old notebook, which I believe I have shown you all before. It is very old. I just want y'all to know that I have ripped out accidentally half of this. It's in pieces. It's completely, this book is very old, okay? It's literally 17 years old. I even wrote a summary for it. The back fell off. Like, I don't know how it's survived as long as it has. And I have other notebooks of stories that I've finished. I think I know exactly where one is. The other one, I'm looking for it because I want to rewrite that one, because that one I did when I was older. It's not bad, but the other one I wrote is as bad as this one. So I wrote purely because I loved to write, and part of me misses that very much because now there's so much pressure on everything that you write and do as an adult, that it has to mean something, that it has to give you something, it has to have some kind of return, that it ruins the creative process. And I really miss the time when I would carry this notebook around and just write. It didn't make sense. There are God knows how many loopholes. I didn't know what a goth was. I literally have like 22 characters in here. On the last page of this, I'm introducing characters, okay? The end of the story, I was introducing new characters. And honest to God, I'm gonna read you the summary, just so you get an idea. A long time ago, there lived two friends who were powerful at heart. They traveled far around to save the earth from the villainous Zachariah and his nephew, Zach. But when they learn something new about Zach, something strange and unpredictable happens. Then some new change undergoes on Emily. That's how that's written. Who has had enough troubles to be taken on more. I misspelled taken. Can they win the battle against Zachariah? Will good have finally met its match? Read to find out in The Powerful Mage. Now, I also wrote a dedication, but we ain't gonna read that because it's cringy. I mean, the whole thing is cringy, but still. Just to give you an idea of how, like, what kind of person I was as an 11-year-old. This was my writing. And I decorated, like, every chapter looks like that. Like, the words, hang on, there we go. The words look like that. And then this is my cover. So I like, wrote out the whole thing. Oh yeah, it was Series 1, Finding Out the Truth. Don't know what truth that was. Can't tell you. Can't read it for more than 2 seconds before I cringe myself to death. Alright, without further ado, for the second time today, I'm going to read you Chapter 1 of the book that I wrote when I was 11. Just please keep that in mind. I was 11. I didn't know what a goth was. I was very bad at making interesting characters. I was 11. You're gonna get some side commentary on this. I'm probably gonna play something on top of this so that you don't have to watch me cringe myself to death. Anyways, here we go. Chapter 1, The Beginning. Emily, a 13-year-old girl who lived at the orphanage, was throwing a tennis ball at the ceiling while lying on her bed. She'd lost her parents at the age of 1. Of course, no one knew how they died. Of course. Hey, Emily. Emily sat up, completely forgetting about the ball. Oh, hey, Jack. Oof. The ball hit her on the head. Emily's best friend, Jack, age 14, started laughing. Emily scowled and pushed her natural baby blue hair out of her baby blue eyes. Emily always wore blue. Whether it was dark blue or light, tank top, t-shirt, or long-sleeved, pants or shorts, she always wore blue tennis shoes, a size 9. Boy. Emily was very curious, and because of that, she almost always got in trouble. Her best friend was Jack. Emily's favorite color was blue. Boy, we couldn't tell. Jack, on the other hand, was very unpopular because of the fact that his favorite color was black, his hair was black, and he always wore black. Everyone, including the nuns, called him a goth. If it weren't for Emily, the toughest girl in school, Jack would have been alone almost all his life. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Very funny, Emily sighed, rubbing her head. Sorry, Em. So what's up? Jack asked, sitting next to her. You should know, Jack. The roof. My humor hasn't gotten much better, let's be honest. Emily looked very tired. She got up and walked out the door. Emily, what's wrong? Are you thinking about... Jack was stopped. Emily glanced at him and pointed at someone coming. Oh god, this part's so bad. Yo, Emily. What's up, babe? Emily and Jack's worst enemy, so far, Mike, came up to them. That thing you don't have anymore. It deserted you. Take a guess. Emily crossed her arms. My girlfriend, babe. Want to be mine? Oh my god. First of all, call me babe again. And this Christmas, you'll be wishing for a new set of teeth. Front teeth, excuse me. Squeezed in there. Second of all, your brain is the answer. Jack started laughing. Mike turned red. Shut up, goth. Jack stopped laughing. Emily knew that bothered him. The last bit of family he had deserted him at the age of 3. His father, the last bit, didn't care for him, and he was like a goth. I'm sorry. Oh my god. No way did Jack want to be like him. Mike, why don't you shut that black hole in your face? There's a rock. Plug it up. Jack smiled at Emily. She always helped him out. Why do you like to hang out with goths, Emily? Mike smirked. Unfortunately, Mike knew that bothered him too. I'll answer your question first. Emily cleared her throat. Some people had gathered and were watching. Mike's gang of idiots cracked their knuckles. Emily ignored them. A, he's really nice, and B, he's not a goth. Now please, answer my question. I really must know. I'll even give you a set of answers. How did you get so stupid? I mean, did you get it from your mom or your dad? Burn! Some people started laughing. Emily, you've crossed the line. Mike rolled up his sleeves. Everyone formed a circle larger than last. Jack smirked, pitying Mike. You made a big mistake challenging me, Mike. Emily rolled up her sleeves. Mike shouted at someone in his gang. Yo, count us off. Sure thing, boss. 3, 2, 1, fight. Mike jumped at Emily, aiming to body slam her. With lightning speed, Emily dodged and elbowed him on the head. Oof! Mike hit the ground. At first he didn't move. Then when Emily let down her guard, Mike jumped up and grabbed her by the neck. Emily couldn't breathe. My God, I was violent. Emily! Jack looked around for something to distract Mike. Give up? Mike was laughing. Emily, struggling as she was, managed to say, no! The next thing that happened freaked everyone out. Emily grabbed Mike's arms and actually tore the skin! Exclamation! 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 There's 3. Ah! Mike let go, clutching his arms. It hurts! Emily looked at her hands. Jack! Emily sounded frightened. Jack looked and gasped. Emily's hands emanated with power. Pow! Doesn't say that. Jack walked over, examining her hands. Nice work! Emily and Jack looked up at the voice, but try as they might, they could not find the source. Down here, the voice said patiently. Emily, Jack, and everyone else, including a nun who had appeared, looked down. Hi, the name's Sly. The source was a talking blue fox. That's as far as I could go. At least we all know that whatever I write, it will never be that bad. I mean, okay. I think I talked about this earlier, but I really miss when I didn't care. When I wrote for me. Because obviously, like, I never intended to, like, okay. I wanted desperately to have a book published, but it wasn't for, like, money or fame. I just wanted to tell stories that people could read. Like, I just wanted to have a book that someone would read. And then somewhere down the line, people started telling me, you know, what the odds were of being a successful author and what the odds were of having a book that people read. And I've realized over the years that what I don't want is success. What I never wanted was success. Like, I'm fine if I can't make a living off of being an author. If I can have a dedicated readership, 15 people who read my books and really like them, I win. That's it. If I could get 1. And I think that's all I ever wanted. And it wasn't until people started assigning adult things like money and value and, well, it's not worth it to become an author because it's a terrible way to make money and survive. And okay, all authors kind of say it's a huge risk to try to make a living off of writing, which is true. It's not what I wanted. Like, I just wanted to write, and I'm struggling to regain that feeling and that belief that I had as a child that you can really only have as a child because you don't understand the world the way an adult does. You don't have adult problems. You just want to write a book. But, like, and there's so much of me in this. Like, obviously, Emily was supposed to be me. I was obsessed with the name Emily because there was a book that I was reading at the time called Avalon. Web of Magic, I think, is the first book. And it was about 3 young girls, and obviously one of them was Emily. She was the main character of the first book. They swap which one is the main character in each book. And the first one was about Emily. And I liked her the most because I just connected with her the most. She had red hair, which I did not have. I just really liked red hair. Always have. And she was this animal person. Like, her parents were vets and she could talk to animals later. And I was just like, that was who I wanted to be. I was a big animal person. Foxes were my favorite animals. Blue is my favorite color. I don't know if you can tell. Natural baby blue hair. Dear Christ. I was so proud of this. I was so proud when I finished this because that was all I cared about, was writing a complete story and finishing it. It was all I cared about. It didn't matter if it was good. I just wanted to finish it. And I think that I've lost that in a sense. Because now I'm so worried about the story having to be good. It has to be good. Has to be. That I've lost what it means to just write. To just write and love writing and just enjoy the fact that I'm telling a story. Like, it doesn't matter if it's good. And I mean, obviously, you then rewrite it and you edit it and you focus on making it good afterwards. But, like, I miss that. I miss just wanting to tell stories, even if they were bad. Not caring about twists and plot devices and having to hit some ridiculous hero's journey rule set. And having to make sure that it's, you know, elegantly written and has character and is character driven. Like, I know that that's obviously important as a professional author. You need to know these things. Know the rules to break the rules is literally my biggest motto on the planet for almost everything. But, like, somewhere down the line, I think we just started taking creativity and applying way too many rules to it. I mean, creativity is literally functioning outside of the box, and yet we just keep putting boxes around it, trying to put classes on it, trying to teach creativity, but you can't really teach creativity. You can teach building blocks, you can teach skills, but you can't teach creativity. That's just not a thing. And the more rules you apply to something, the more it stops becoming creative. Which is sort of the point of these sorts of things. They're just creative. How many times can I say the word creative before it doesn't sound like a word anymore? But anyways, I got this recorded. I've done it. It exists. It's a video that I've made. A lot of people have asked me to do this for a really long time, and every time I picked this up and looked at the first chapter, I cringed myself into a whole new universe. So, there it is. I will not read the rest of it. It doesn't make any sense. There are massive loopholes. I forget plot devices. It's not a complete story. It was never edited. It was never done right. It's just John. Did I misspell John, or was I just being creative? I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Try not to judge my poor manuscript from 11-year-old Monica too harshly. And remember, no matter what you write, at least it's not a powerful mage.